Welcome back to another Iceberg analysis. Today we're covering a childhood favorite of mine, and I'm sure a childhood favorite of yours as well, Drake and Josh. Not every sitcom can stand the test of time, but Drake and Josh absolutely has. Coming back to the show nearly 20 years after it ended has been a joy. Drake and Josh hits the perfect sweet spot between nostalgia and quality for me, as the show is 2000s as hell, but remains outstanding in its situational comedy. Nickelodeon had a lot of great live-action shows in the 2000s, but if you ask me, Drake and Josh is easily the best one. Not only am I super nostalgic for it, the show legitimately holds up today, with the characters staying compelling and a lot of the jokes still being knee-slappers. This is yet another show that is beloved by a lot of people in my generation. Yet there isn't as much video commentary on YouTube on it as there should be. So again, I decided to make an iceberg chart myself and explain every entry in detail. Without further ado, let's dive in. Layer 1. Like in any iceberg chart, this is merely the tip of the iceberg, so lots of surface level stuff to cover here. If you haven't seen the show in a while and need a refresher, this should do it. And if you haven't even watched the show at all, I've got you covered as well. Main characters. Drake and Josh is about two teenage stepbrothers and their family that live in San Diego, California. First, we've got Drake Parker, played by Drake Bell. Drake is a musician, a ladies' man, and a bit of an idiot. In the show, his luck is insane, as he gets away with just about every act of rebellion or slackery, all while having girls chasing him literally left and right. Next, we've got Josh Nichols, played by Josh Peck. Josh is the yin to Drake's yang. He's a lot nerdier, dorkier, delightfully awkward, and honestly just an all-around wholesome guy. Definitely a goody two-shoes, but over the show's 4 seasons, he develops as a person and is able to gain confidence and stand up for himself more. Next, we've got their evil little sister, Megan, played by Miranda Cosgrove. Megan puts all of her energy into making her brothers' lives as miserable as possible, using unreasonably high-tech devices to prank them on a regular basis. She puts on the facade of a sweet little girl, which her parents buy into, but Drake and Josh know the sinister mastermind beneath her innocent affect. Next, we've got the parents. First up is Walter Nichols, played by Jonathan Goldstein. Walter is Josh's biological father and Drake's stepdad. You can tell Josh takes after him in certain ways, because even though he's the weatherman on the local news, everybody kind of thinks he's a joke. Walter is a bit awkward, but isn't afraid to lay down the law when his sons get into hijinks at home. Finally, we've got Audrey Parker Nichols, played by Nancy Sullivan. Audrey is Drake and Megan's biological mother and Josh's stepmom. The writers don't give her nearly as much of a backstory and lore as Walter, but she gets just about as much screen time as he does. She is also a caring parent, although she doesn't carry a similarity to Drake like Walter does with Josh. Found a Way. Found a Way is the iconic theme song for Drake and Josh, performed by Drake Bell himself. Bell co-wrote the song with Michael Corcoran, who is better known as Backhouse Mike, as he did music for a bunch of other live-action Nick shows like iCarly and Victorious. The team behind the show were originally going to go with a Lenny Kravitz song as the show's opening theme, but creator Dan Schneider was impressed by the song Drake Bell made, and chose it as the show's theme song. I fucking love this song. It's one of the all-time greatest TV show theme songs in my opinion. Hug me, brother. This is one of Josh's most famous recurring quotes. It debuts in the pilot episode. The mom and dad say they have something to tell Drake. Drake gets all weirded out, realizing that Josh is going to be his stepbrother, and he debuts the iconic recurring line.
We're getting married! Yeah, we're gonna be one big old happy family.
Wait. You mean he's gonna be my stepfather? And you're gonna be he's gonna be my... Hug me, brother!
The line comes back a lot throughout the series, usually after a moment of accomplishment or happiness for the two brothers.
May I? Hug me, brother! Hug me, brother! Hug me, brother! Now lock it! Now hug me, brother!
Drake gets girls. I already touched on this in the main characters entry, but thought this deserved its own entry by itself. Drake is a girl magnet throughout the series, to a hysterical degree.
Okay, in my whole life, I've only had one real girlfriend.
In my entire life, I've only had like 74 girlfriends. Dude, I'm in the middle of a story.
There's your story.
Whoa, that's a healthy girl.
How hot is she?
I'll let you know.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna go ask her out.
Well, maybe I want to ask her out.
Come on, man, look at her. She's ridiculously hot. Don't you think she's a little more my speed?
Drake's band. We never get to know Drake's band's name, or maybe it's because it's actually multiple different bands, because they rotate their lineup about as often as the Brian Jonestown Massacre. But throughout all 4 seasons, Drake has his own band. Whether it's at a local coffee shop, a talent show, or a class project, Drake can be seen performing with his band a ton, or just practicing guitar at home. The premiere. The premiere is one of the most important locations in the show, as plot points unfold and characters are introduced there constantly. The theater is run by Helen, played by Yvette Nicole Brown, one of my absolute favorite characters in the show. Even though Josh is a goody two-shoes that actually gives a shit about his role at the theater, Helen doesn't really like him much, but really takes a liking to Drake, which can be a little weird sometimes.
No, look, all right, there was a party and it sort of got out of control, and now they won't leave, and I was hoping maybe you could come over and scare them away.
Okay, look, Josh, I am your employer, and I don't feel it's my responsibility to help you out of your personal predicaments.
Please.
I am sorry, Josh.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I better get home before all those insane people eat Drake alive.
Drake's in trouble? Woo! Come on, Drake!
A fun part of seeing Drake and Josh at the premiere so much is that they always have these little Easter egg fake movie titles on the marquee, along with posters in the lobby. This is something we'll come back to later. Boobs. This is how Megan refers to her brothers on a regular basis.
Hey, Mom. Hey, boob.
Don't call me a boob.
Sorry, boob.
Bring it, Parker.
You bring it. You bring it.
Come on! Boob fight! I, forgot to give Josh a hug goodnight. Sweet, sweet Josh. Sleep tight, little boob. Such a small brain and such a big boob. Drake, Josh, I'd like you to meet my new assistant, Tyler. Tyler, you know the boobs. Boobs?
Josh is a huge fan of Oprah Winfrey. While she's Josh's celebrity crush, to him, she's much more than that. He constantly talks highly of her and even has a framed photo of her next to his bed. Drake? Where's the door hole? This is one of the clips from the show that has been memed to death, and for good reason, as this is a truly classic moment. After the guys and Megan accidentally burned down a neighbor kid's treehouse, Drake and Josh's parents forced them to build a new treehouse for the neighborhood kid. Obviously, no one is going to tell Megan what to do, so she makes her brothers do all the work. As they put up the final wall of the treehouse, Josh realizes they have no way out and this iconic scene ensues.
Drake,
What?
where's the door hole?
Goes right there. See, I drew it with a magic marker.
You were supposed to cut it out with the power saw.
Dude, I'm gonna.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So go get the power saw.
Okay, I will. I see the problem.
Oh, do ya?
I ain't calling you a truther. We'll go more in depth on this episode later, but in the Foam Finger episode, Drake and Josh remember something from way back in the day differently. They argue, and Josh says the famous line.
You started that fight.
You calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther. All right, boy.
Interesting. Another clip from the show that has been memed to death is this clip of Megan sitting at the computer sipping on a soda. Here, she's trying to plot another prank on her brothers, so she's looking up various skin diseases.
Cure. Ah. The only known cure requires an unusually painful series of injections by needle into the afflicted areas. Awesome! There are some rumored home remedies, but they're highly unpleasant and may or may not be effective in curing dermatomaculitis. Interesting.
Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. This is the first Drake and Josh TV movie released in 2006. The plot is Drake and Josh accidentally send Megan on a flight to LA, so they have to go to Hollywood to rescue her. This is a pretty fun movie, and it's the first of 2 Drake and Josh TV movies. Merry Christmas, Drake and Josh. So this was a Christmas special that aired about a year after the Drake and Josh series finale. Dan Schneider, the creator of the show, realized they never made a Christmas special while the show was running on the air, so he put this TV movie in motion as a bonus conclusion to the show. Josh repeating for emphasis. One of Josh's recurring gags and signature speech patterns is him repeating something for emphasis. If you were to do an impression of the character Josh Nichols, you're gonna need a little bit of this.
And check this out.
Whoa, what is that?
I don't know! But it beeps and vibrates and can pinpoint my exact latitude and longitude. Longitude! Just taught you a lesson in the evils of gambling. Evils!
It's called a game pod. It's podular.
Podular! I repeat things for emphasis. Emphasis!
Craig and Eric. Craig and Eric, played by Alec Medlock and Scott Halberstadt, are 2 nerds that Drake and Josh go to school with. Josh is friendly with both of them, and so is Drake to an extent. However, Drake constantly confuses which one is which.
Hey, Craig. Eric. Do me a favor. Make sure that this guitar gets into the...
I want to sell some grills. Give me some grills.
No way. Stick to your lemonade stand, little girl.
Gamesphere. In the season premiere for Season 2, The Bet, Drake and Josh make a bet with one another to see who can go without their vice the longest. Drake's vice is junk food, while Josh's vice is playing video games. The 2 also agree that whoever loses the bet has to dye their hair pink. Drake goes through physical withdrawals after abstaining from junk food. So, a doctor literally tells him that he needs to eat junk food again to be healthy. On the other hand, Josh's beloved grandma sends him a Gamesphere.
It's a present from Grammy. This day just keeps getting better.
What'd she send you?
It's a game sphere.
No way. The game sphere doesn't come out for another 3 months.
Never underestimate Grammy.
What's a game sphere?
Only the most sophisticated gaming experience ever created by humans, and it's spherical. Spherical!
While the Gamesphere itself is a parody of the GameCube, it's actually a CD player that was sold in real life. Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve is an unhinged employee at the premiere played by Jerry Trainer. We don't exactly know what his diagnosis is, but basically his shtick is that he will act super calm and respectful, and then get super angry out of nowhere.
The only thing you might want to check out is the cup holder in seat 34C. It's a little wobbly.
Well, I'll get my toolkit and have a look at that just as soon as the next movie lets out.
Great.
Because with all the pain and hunger and disease in the world, there's really no better use of my time than to make sure every blessed cup holder is rock solid steady. So that little whining funkholes like you don't have to worry about your precious little lemonade being a teeny bit unbalanced.
Towards the end of the series, his doctor puts him on a regimen where he can only get angry 4 times a day.
I didn't know it was your enchilada. I just saw it in the fridge and there was no note on it. No note.
It's all right. I understand.
Look, you're not mad? I thought you'd flip out.
Normally, yes, I would flip out. But my psychologist worked out a plan where I'm only allowed to get angry 4 times each day. Now's not the time.
When is the time?
Oh, that's a secret. It's time.
Oh!
You ate my enchilada!
It was no!
You ate my enchilada!
No!
Josh is a magician. While Drake has ambitions to be a rock star, Josh loves magic.
Hi, cheerleader. Hold a sec. Josh, I was in the middle of...
Students and faculty, gather around to witness the amazing Josho make the egg of a chicken disappear.
Just kill me.
Mindy Crenshaw. Mindy Crenshaw is Josh's academic rival turned girlfriend, played by Allison Scagliotti. She's a genius, and around the time she's introduced, she tries to fuck with Josh like Megan does.
You enjoy bothering Josh, so do I. We share the same goal here, you know what I mean?
I'm listening.
Josh is in high school, you're in grade school. That means that for 8 hours a day, you can't get to him. So if I harass him at school and you harass him at home, we stay out of each other's way and Josh is miserable almost all the time.
That does sound nice.
That girl.
When Mindy chooses Josh as her partner for a school project, the two become romantically involved. Later, Mindy says I love you to Josh, and he doesn't know how to react. The two soon take a break, but get together again by the end of the series. The Amanda Show. Drake and Josh's origins go back to The Amanda Show, a sketch comedy show on Nickelodeon starring Amanda Bynes. Not only were Drake Bell and Josh Peck cast members, but their TV mom, Nancy Sullivan, was as well. There is one sketch that is of particular importance, however. There is a scene where Drake and Josh fight over a piece of shrimp laying on the ground. As the scene played out, one of the producers of The Big Bang Theory told Dan Schneider that this was his next show, something focusing on the dynamic between the two actors. Josh's weight loss. This is admittedly pretty trivial, but Josh goes from being a bigger kid to being pretty skinny by the end of the series. Josh has talked about his weight loss journey over the years.
As many of you know, I've been physically gifted from a really early age, just icon genetics. No, I was 300 pounds on television, which is super cute. My awkward teenage years are in reruns, which is incredible. But throughout my life, I had no baseline for fitness. I was an active kid, like I enjoyed playing sports, I just wasn't very good at them. And inevitably, when I got that big, I just wasn't really able to keep up. So when I eventually lost 100 pounds, that journey was very specific to me because like I had to learn how to do one push-up or one pull-up. Like I had no baseline fitness. So everything you're seeing here, this very average package, it took a lot of hard work.
I love this album more than I love myself. Surprise, surprise, this is another meme from the show. Drake explains that he got his hands on a vinyl copy of Abbey Road, signed by all 4 Beatles.
Josh, look what I have. Look at what I got.
What?
The Beatles Abbey Road album signed by all 4 Beatles.
No way. No, how'd you get this?
You know that old guy from England who lives 2 blocks over from us? Mr. Pumpect?
The guy with the hot granddaughter?
Yes. And yes. But anyway, his brother used to be a sound engineer for the Beatles back in the 60s, so he has like a dozen of these autographed albums.
And he just gave this to you?
Yeah, for free. And all I gotta do is stay away from his granddaughter.
However, Drake pissed off this kid at school who's throwing this huge, extravagant 16th birthday bash, with an MTV crew and the cast of Galaxy Wars there. But after Drake kissed this guy's girlfriend, he was uninvited to the party.
What are you doing, Parker? Kissing a girl. What are you doing?
You'll see this meme pop up in just about any music fandom, with people replacing Abbey Road with whatever other album.
Hey, isn't Thornton a huge Beatles fan?
Well, yeah, but I don't see what that has to do.
Oh, no way. Don't even think about it.
I'm telling you, if we give him that album as a birthday
Absolutely
present,
not.
I guarantee you he'll reinvite us.
Dude, I love this album more than I love myself.
Dude.
Okay, but I love this album a lot.
The Peruvian Puff Pepper. In Season 3, Episode 2, the boys are trying to win a plasma screen TV in a salsa making contest. The two want the plasma screen for themselves, but Megan wants to enter in as well. As a means of tricking Drake and Josh, Megan acquires this rare ingredient, the Peruvian Puff Pepper. The boys decide they need to get in on this as well, so they get their hands on it and win the competition. But it turns out that Peruvian puff peppers are illegal in the United States and therefore banned from the contest. So they revoke the winning title from them and give it to Megan, who had this planned all along.
You set us up, didn't you?
What? You think I purposely got the Peruvian puff peppers, knowing you'd steal them from me and use them in your own salsa? Just so I could point it out to the judges, get you disqualified, and then walk away with Yatsubishi plasma screen TV for myself? Come on. I'm not that smart.
Don't tell me what to do. This quote speaks for itself. I feel like this one gets referenced a lot.
Package for Josh Nichols.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Don't tell me what to do.
Headaches. This is directly related to the entry about Josh repeating things for emphasis. As I was rewatching the show, I debated whether or not to include this entry on its own, but it happened just often enough that I thought it was merited in addition to the other entry. Josh usually says this when he's annoyed at Drake.
Ow! Headaches! You give me headaches!
Bellevue High School. The high school that Drake and Josh go to is one of the most featured locations in the show, up there with their family's home and the premiere. There's really not a whole lot to say here right now, as any standout characters or scenarios at the school will be covered in later entries on this iceberg. Gavin Mitchell. This goofy-haired employee at the premiere, played by Jake Farrow, is a comic relief character that pops up in the show every once in a while. He's in enough episodes for him to feel familiar, but just few enough so that you don't really remember his name. South America. This is my favorite clip and quote from the entire show. This clip shows Drake and Josh researching as they plan to acquire the Peruvian puff pepper.
Okay, so how do we buy some?
Can't. It says here they're only available in South America.
What? South America!
Layer 2. Foam Finger. In Season 3, Episode 9, Drake and Josh find out that they met way before their parents started dating. Back in the day, the two had a scuffle over a foam finger at a San Diego Padres game. Josh remembers Drake being the aggressor in the situation, and Drake remembers Josh being the aggressor in the situation. But after doing some digging, the family finds out that Megan was actually the one that started the fight when she was a toddler by throwing something at Josh.
You thumped me. No, I didn't.
Realign, not realize. So you know this part of the theme song?
It's gonna take some time to realize.
Many people mishear the lyric as, it's gonna take some time to realize, but it's actually, it's gonna take some time to realign. Drake Bell has talked about this a bunch. I, for one, am in the camp that for years thought the lyric was realize instead of realign.
It's gonna take some time to realize.
Hold on for a second. Hold on. If you're gonna sing along, just sing the right words. Okay. It's gonna take some time to what? There we go, see? Yes. Okay, it's gonna take some time to realign.
Not real lies. Because that doesn't rhyme. Real lies doesn't rhyme with anything in the song. Think about it.
Removed episodes. So if you go on Paramount Plus or any other streaming service that has Drake and Josh, there are a total of 8 episodes that are unavailable, including the pilot episode. This is believed to be due to music licensing issues. The missing episodes are the pilot and the Dune Buggy episode in Season 1, and in Season 2, Guitar, Little Diva, Blues Brothers, Driver's License, Number One Fan, and the Gary Grill are all missing. Get your shit together, Nickelodeon. That's like half of both Seasons 1 and 2 totally missing. However, you can find all of these episodes pretty easily on YouTube. Blues Brothers. A fan favorite episode of the show, this episode starts with Josh making a fool of himself on live TV, as Walter brings him along to work for a sort of bring your son to work day. At the same time, Drake's band is set to play at a talent show. They were originally going to perform the song Found a Way, but end up performing Soul Man by the Blues Brothers instead. It's mentioned that Drake and Josh already have this whole routine rehearsed from back in the day, and the two absolutely kill it during this awesome talent show scene. Mrs. Hafer. Mrs. Hafer is Drake and Josh's English teacher at Bellevue High School, and is really the only recurring teacher character in the show. Mrs. Hafer basically serves as the anti-Helen, as Helen loves Drake but doesn't really like Josh all that much, whereas Mrs. Hafer hates Drake and loves Josh. There's an example where she asks the class a question, Drake gives the right answer, and she says he's wrong anyway.
All right, class, let's begin. The Iliad and the Odyssey were originally written in what language, Drake?
Greek.
Wrong. Todd?
Greek?
Correct.
Gold Vest. The gold vest is a uniform worn by an assistant manager at the premiere, whereas the regular employees wear these red vests. In the first episode where we see the premiere, Josh gets a job there, and Drake ends up working there as well. Since Drake always finds himself in lucky situations, he gets promoted to assistant manager quickly, even though he doesn't give a shit about the job anywhere near as much as his brother does. Mindy later gets the gold vest before Josh towards the end of the series, and in the series finale, Helen finally awards Josh the gold vest at last. 2 Helens. So in 14 episodes of Drake and Josh, Helen is played by Yvette Nicole Brown. But in Season 2, Episode 7, Frances Callier plays the role of Helen instead, as she had to fill in for Yvette Nicole Brown, who had a prior commitment to appearing in an ABC series, The Big House, starring Kevin Hart. Josh ran over Oprah. We all know how much Josh loves Oprah, but it's easy to forget that he sent her to the hospital one time. In Season 4, Episode 1, Oprah is taping an episode of her talk show nearby, so Drake scores tickets to it and the brothers go. However, as they're parking, Josh runs into Oprah as the brothers are arguing.
I want to find a spot closer to the door.
Why?
'Cause if we park far away, then we might have to walk too far and I could get sweaty. And I will not meet Oprah with pit stains.
Just park the car
Would you let go of my wheel? Hey, come on!
Hey, watch it, watch it!
If you look at the parking lot set up closely, it's pretty hysterical. This red carpet type thing would never be so wide open that a car could just plow through. In the end, Josh gets a restraining order from Oprah, but he's happy with this because it's got her autograph on it.
Mom and Dad got a call from Oprah's lawyer.
A lawyer?
Yeah, I guess she's kind of peeved that you ran her over. Look what they sent to the house.
A restraining order?
Yeah, it says by law you can't get within 300 feet of Oprah.
And why is this happy news?
Check the signature at the bottom.
Oprah Winfrey! She signed it!
Yep.
I got an autograph from Oprah!
Bruce Winchell. Bruce Winchell is Walter's professional rival, as he's a weatherman for another TV station. As everyone laughs at Walter, not taking him seriously, Bruce Winchell, on the other hand, is adored by the public, with even Audrey and Megan watching Bruce Winchell's weather forecast instead of Walter's.
So, Dad does the weather on TV every night, and we never watch him.
You told me Megan always watches the weather.
Oh, she does. On Channel 12.
Bruce Winchell? Why would you watch his weather broadcast instead of mine?
'Cause Bruce Winchell has awesome hair.
His hair is incredible.
So you guys watch my competitor because he has better hair than me?
It's just so fluffy and inviting.
I know. Don't you just want to take a nap in it?
I can't believe this.
The Theater Thug. In Season 3, Episode 14, a crew of a crime reenactment show called FBI's Most Wanted is filming a segment for an episode at the premiere. Drake and Josh are cast as actors in the segment, with Josh as the criminal, the theater thug, a man who's been robbing a string of movie theaters and is currently on the loose. The producer of the show approaches Josh to play the role because he looks like him, and once the episode airs on TV, everyone thinks that Josh is the actual theater thug, as he is shunned in public. Drake, on the other hand, is adored for his role in the episode, even though he just said this one thing.
Whoa, just take it easy, man.
At the end of the episode, the real theater thug comes into the premiere theater as Josh is closing for the night. He tries to rob the theater, but both Drake and Josh pin him down. Once he's pinned down, the police arrest Josh, thinking that he's the theater thug. Dr. Phyllis. An in-show parody of Dr. Phil, the brothers make an appearance on the show after their arguments and fighting reach a boiling point. This is a pretty boring clip show episode. It just shows scenes from previous episodes, however, Dr. Phyllis, the name, is a fun way of spinning Dr. Phil. Gary Coleman Grill. In Season 2, Episode 12, Drake and Josh are approached by two men at the premiere named Buddy and Guy. They solicit the brothers to sell Gary Coleman grills for them for commission. The Gary Coleman grill itself, of course, being a parody of the George Foreman grill. In the show, it's even got an MP3 player in it. The two scheme to try and sell as much as they can, even trying to make classmates jealous. But they are eventually arrested for it because it turns out that the grills are actually stolen. The two try to explain to the police how they got the grills.
We know you two stole the grills.
Why don't you just admit it? Look, I told you. We were at the premiere, and two guys came up to us and offered us jobs selling grills.
Okay. What were the names of these two guys?
Well, one of their names was, Guy.
Right. Guy. And what was his buddy's name?
Buddy.
Megan then works with the police to try and catch the men that sold the brothers the Gary Coleman grills, and they are escorted by police. Then, at the very end, Gary Coleman himself makes an appearance, coming to visit Drake and Josh in jail. Galaxy Wars. This is basically an in-universe version of Star Wars that is further referenced later in iCarly. The actors from Galaxy Wars appear towards the end of Season 4. This popular guy at Bellevue High School invites Drake and Josh to his extravagant birthday party, which I brought up earlier. And part of the night's itinerary is a real-life recreation of the Battle of Panthatar, with the film's original actors and everything. The Drake and Josh Inn. In the first episode of Season 3, Audrey and Walter go out of town for the weekend, leaving Drake and Josh in charge of the house. They leave them some money for food and emergencies back for them, but Drake and Josh blow through it all at the mall. As the brothers hear a couple at the premiere complain about their hotel canceling on them, they get the idea to use their house as a bed and breakfast hotel. The couple ends up staying there, but then Drake gets a shitload of college students in San Diego for spring break to come stay at the so-called Drake and Josh Inn. Once the college students cause enough chaos, they try to get them to leave unsuccessfully. The brothers then recruit Helen to boss them around, since it didn't work when they tried, but she gets totally self-absorbed once an MTV crew shows up to film the party. Walter and Audrey see what's going on in their house on TV, but then fly home quickly. The two are later arrested for filming a TV show at their house without a license. Happy Times. Happy Times is the in-universe version of the 1970s sitcom Good Times. When she was a kid, Helen was a regular on the show as the character Georgia, as she likes to bring up a bunch along with her catchphrase. To the nurse. This is Mrs. Hafer's catchphrase. It is pretty much a catch-all for get out of my classroom.
I told you, Mrs. Hafer, I didn't do
You
this.
are suspended, Drake Parker.
What?
Suspended!
Come on, now you had
To
to...
the nurse! Josh, would you take Sammy to the nurse for a moment?
There's no nurse here, sir.
To the nurse!
Come on, Sammy!
One condition. I get to be the boyfriend/girlfriend. Once Mindy and Josh become boyfriend and girlfriend, Josh says this line.
You saying you like me or not?
I'm saying I like you.
Well, then I'm saying I like you.
Fine.
Fine.
Then I guess we're boyfriend and girlfriend.
One condition.
What?
I get to be the boyfriend.
After the two take a break from the relationship and reunite in the series finale, Mindy says this to Josh.
You want to get back together?
Okay. But I get to be the girlfriend.
We're not Caucasian, we're white guys. This is a classic moment of Drake just being dumb.
Eyewitnesses say the thieves were two clean-cut Caucasian males.
There you go. We're not Caucasian, we're white guys.
Grammy. Grammy is Josh's grandmother, played by Randy Heller. She's mentioned a lot throughout the series, but actually only appears in one episode, Season 1, Episode 6. She notably sends Josh the Game Sphere, and also beats Drake at basketball. Josh loves his Grammy, and Drake doesn't like her at first, but later grows fond of her. The sushi scene was inspired by I Love Lucy. A contender for the greatest Drake and Josh episode, in my opinion, is Season 4, Episode 7, I Love Sushi. The boys have to get a job to replace some furniture in their house, and they end up getting a job at this sushi place packaging food. It's a hilarious knee-slapper of a scene that utilizes physical comedy very well. But as the episode title hints at, the scenario is inspired by a scene from the 1950s sitcom I Love Lucy, where main characters Lucy and Ethel have to work at a chocolate factory and find themselves in a similar predicament.
Fine, you're doing splendidly. Speed it up a little!
It's not gonna put mustard on itself. From the Season 2 episode Movie Job.
Hot dog.
You want I should put mustard on it?
It's not gonna put mustard on itself.
True.
Hey, bring me a hot dog.
You want me to put mustard on it?
It's not gonna put mustard on itself.
Walter almost became the weatherman for Good Morning Today. In Season 3, Episode 5, The Affair, Drake and Josh suspect that Walter is cheating on his wife with another woman. They follow and investigate, with all signs pointing to Walter having an affair. However, the whole time, the woman in question was a representative from Good Morning Today, the in-universe version of Good Morning America, and she wanted to hire Walter for this national program that would make him one of the most famous weathermen in the country. This point right here is interesting because everyone else that knows Walter as the weatherman thinks he sucks, but whatever. The boys, thinking that Walter is having an affair, attack the woman with food, totally soiling Walter's chances at the job. Layer 3. Zoe 101 crossover. So this isn't really a crossover. Honestly, I probably should have made this entry to be more about the absence of a crossover episode at all. However, while both shows were airing, Drake Bell made an appearance and performed a song live on Zoe 101. Fans have complained that there's no crossover between the two shows created by Dan Schneider, but it never fully came to fruition. The posters in Drake and Josh's room. As you can probably imagine, I'm the type of person that notices little details in the background. And ever since I was a kid, some of the posters in Drake and Josh's room really stuck out to me. So we're gonna break them all down real quick. First, we've got a poster of Aerosmith's 2001 album Just Push Play. Not an album people talk about often, but obviously contemporary to the time. Rewatching the show, I noticed that there were two of the same R.L. Burnside posters for his 1998 album Come On In. Over here we have the Warriors Code by Dropkick Murphys, the album that has that one song on it. There's a poster for the band The Ataris of their 2003 album So Long Astoria, Howie Day, F-, Wyclef Jean, The Fugees, Pretty Based, T-Model Ford, Tiger Army, Silverchair, Bob Log 3, Pearl Jam, Agnostic Front, and now one of my favorite bands of all time, Bad Religion, Kenny Brown, The Distillers, Matchbox 20, Crazy Town, Slackers, Pete Yorn, Millencolin, The Smile, not the Tom York Johnny Greenwood Band, Good Charlotte, NoFX, All, Death by Stereo, Lars Fredriksson and the Bastards, Bouncing Souls, Guttermouth, and Nas. Drake has more eclectic taste than you'd be led to believe on the show. Miss Nancy. In the pilot episode of the show, where Audrey and Walter announce they're getting married, Drake finds out that Josh writes for the advice column for the school newspaper under the pseudonym of Miss Nancy. But Josh has to get in character to write his advice, so he puts on a dress and a wig as he does it. We never see him do this again, but it is undeniably a very Josh thing to do. Season 4 episodes aired out of order. So here's a weird thing. The hour-long series finale of Drake and Josh, Really Big Shrimp, isn't technically the last episode of the show that aired. If you go on streaming services, it shows a few episodes of the show after the finale. But in reality, Really Big Shrimp does take place last. I honestly don't know why they don't rearrange it for the purposes of modern streaming services. The Lucky Shirt. In Season 2, Episode 11, Josh wears a shirt that everyone finds to be pretty ugly. The catch, however, is that this shirt brings him the best luck possible. It's almost like he's Drake when he's wearing it. Drake wants in on it, and as the brothers fight over it, they rip the shirt. Eventually, each brother wears a part of the shirt, but the luck won't work unless it's all as one. This helps Josh when he's on a blind date with a model. At the end of the episode, Megan gives the shirt to Goodwill. DS and GBA video games. So there were two Drake and Josh video games released in the 2000s. One on the Game Boy Advanced, simply titled Drake and Josh, and one for the DS, Drake and Josh Talent Showdown. As I posted on my community tab, I started to play the Game Boy Advance game while I was making this Iceberg, and I was shocked to find out that it's a fucking stealth game. Basically, you play as Drake, sneaking around the school not trying to get caught. The controls are a little wonky, but once you get used to them, it's a little fun. In other sections of the game, you play as Josh, and it's a bit more puzzle-oriented. I haven't played the DS game, but it looks pretty similar, especially considering since they were made by the same company. Some of the stealth mechanics are still there, and there's a bit more of a fetch quest element to it all. Drew and Jerry. After Drake doesn't have time to spend with Josh, Josh essentially goes out and finds a friend to replace him. Drew, who is basically Drake's clone. Drake gets jealous of this and also finds a new friend to replace Josh, Jerry, who is also basically Josh's clone. He's even super into magic like Josh. At the premiere, the brothers argue as each one is hanging out with their new friend instead of each other. Drew and Jerry each show off their talents, and a TV producer is conveniently there to notice. And he gives the two their own show. Once Drew and Jerry make it onto television, we never hear from them again. The Brew Note. The Brew Note is a coffee shop / concert venue that appears in Season 1, Episode 5, First Crush. Let me just say off the bat, this is a banger name for a place like this. Drake's band plays there, but are subsequently banned after Megan pulls a prank on Drake as he's performing, unleashing a snake onto him. On the Josh side of things, he develops a crush on this girl named Kathy, and to impress her, he says he plays guitar. Josh, quote-unquote, plays guitar at the birthday party to try and impress her, but since he actually can't play guitar, it's just Drake behind the curtain doing all the work. This is a super funny visual gag. Kathy finds out that Josh is a musical fraud, but then the two make up. After this episode, we never see the Brew Note again. Henry Doheny. Also known as the Great Doheny, Henry Doheny is a famous magician that Josh admires, his name being an obvious play on the name Harry Houdini. Henry Doheny comes into the premiere when Josh is working one day, and he gets starstruck. It's said that Henry Doheny's career has fallen off a bit, as he hasn't been getting any offers to appear at events in a while. Later in the episode, the brothers put on a magic show with the Great Doheny himself, but they accidentally kill him.
More swords! More swords!
Now, some of you may be asking yourselves, how could any man live with 4 swords thrust through his body? Well, don't ask us. Ask Doheny!
Are you pointing at the right spot?
Yes, I'm pointing to the right spot.
Well, where is he?
What is going on?
Doheny?
We need a doctor!
I'm a doctor.
Turn on the lights!
He's dead.
At his funeral, however, Henry Doheny comes back, revealing it was all one big magic trick after all. Oh, he also makes Walter's hair disappear, among many other tricks. Josh's mustache. In Season 3, Episode 6, Playing the Field, Josh grows a mustache, and his girlfriend Mindy and just about everybody else hates it. Mindy pays Megan to shave Josh's mustache while he sleeps, but she's only able to shave half of it off before getting caught. The Demonator. In Season 3, a new awesome roller coaster called the Demonator is opening at Mystic Mountain, an amusement park nearby. They decide to go on the roller coaster on opening day, but their parents won't let them because they have to watch Josh's grandpa at home. Instead, the boys swindle Craig and Eric into watching Josh's grandpa instead, so the brothers and Megan go to Mystic Mountain to ride the Demonator. They have a bit of a scuffle in the long line for the ride, but eventually get to ride it.
Oh my God. We rode the Demonator.
Zero Gravity. Zero Gravity is Drake's favorite band. In Season 2, Episode 2, Guitar, Drake tries to win tickets to their concert through a radio contest. He wins the tickets, along with a guitar signed by Zero Gravity's lead guitarist, Devin Malone. Of course, the guitar explodes, so Josh tries to replace it before Drake notices. Drake ends up getting to go backstage at the Zero Gravity show, gets a new guitar signed, and even gets to play on stage with the band. We Will Rock You alternate song. In the Season 4 episode The Storm, everyone is stuck inside the Parker Nichols home as there's a bad storm going on outside, causing Drake's band's performance to get cancelled. By the end, Helen orchestrates a sing-along to the song We Will Rock You by Queen.
Nothing to do. What do you think think people did before they had electricity and crankable televisions? Come on. Now, I want all the females in the room to do this. Yeah, now keep doing that. Now, boys, when they pause, I want you to clap like this. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Now keep doing that, and listen to this. Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place. Sing it. We will rock you. Hey! Sing it! We will rock you. Go, Drake.
Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the streets, gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will.
Due to copyright issues, some international versions and digital releases of the episode have an alternate song, where Helen leads a sing-along to the song Let's Get This Party Started.
Well, I just can't explain all the things I choose, but the grass is always greener when you're singing the blues. Well, I've been down, but I'm doing all right. Gonna sing a little song to make you scream tonight. Hey! Hey, hey, I say, let's get this party started.
Yuka. Yuka is Josh's online pen pal / girlfriend from the fictional country of Eudonia. After talking for over a year, Yuka comes to the US to visit Josh. However, since she doesn't know what he looks like, he assumes that Drake is Josh, and Josh is left in the dust as she takes a liking to Drake. Later, they hear her talk to her parents on the phone, hearing her say that she's homesick. So they get a Eudonian man to help capture the feel of Eudonia by hosting a ceremony in Drake and Josh's room. Little do Drake and Josh know, however, that this is actually a wedding ceremony, so Drake and Yuka then become legally married. Obviously, Drake doesn't like this. Yuka's billionaire parents later come to visit and meet Drake, but Drake says that the dish he made them has goat in it, which is a sacred animal in Eudonia. The dad gets offended and the marriage is called off. C in chemistry. Pretty simple. This is Josh's response when he doesn't know how to react after Mindy tells him she loves him for the first time.
I love you.
C in chemistry.
Ashley Blake. In Season 2, Episode 7, Little Diva, the premiere is hosting the actual premiere for the movie Kid President, starring child star Ashley Blake. Josh is tasked with being her personal assistant in the lead up to the premiere, and as the episode title implies, she's a total diva prima donna, treating him like shit. They go back to the house, where Megan leaves a bucket above Drake and Josh's door that will fall on them when they open it. The bucket falls on Ashley Blake's head instead, injuring her. A doctor comes and gives her medication that puts her to sleep just before she's supposed to show up at the premiere. So Drake and Josh carry her around as she's asleep, spoofing Weekend at Bernie's. Drake and Josh each directed an episode. Drake Bell and Josh Peck each got to direct an episode in Season 4. Drake got to direct the first half of the series finale, Really Big Shrimp, and Josh got to direct Episode 16, Battle of Panthatar. Kelly Hafer. Kelly is a girl that Drake dates, but he can't get over her annoying laugh.
So, how was school?
Actually, pretty rough.
I had a pretty bad day, too.
What happened?
My hamster died. It's not funny.
Eventually, he gets so fed up with this that he goes to her house to break up with her, and since he's never been to her house before or met her parents, he doesn't realize that she's Mrs. Hafer's daughter until she shows up at the door. Mrs. Hafer promises to make Drake's life a living hell if he hurts her, so he tries to act so disgusting that she breaks up with him. But this backfires because Kelly actually loves it.
Drake, you know what I love about you?
Oh, I am so sorry.
You should be. That was weak. Check this out. I just love how you and I can be so comfortable with each other.
But when Drake puts on Josh's lucky shirt, She breaks up with him. Tiberius. Tiberius is Mrs. Hafer's Rottweiler. In season 4, Drake and Josh take care of him while Mrs. Hafer is away. The dog is terrifying to the brothers, so they hide in the bathroom. Later, animal control comes, but not even the animal control guy can handle this dog. At the end of the episode, Drake and Josh escape, but they get home after Walter goes looking for them. Walter makes it to Mrs. Hafer's house, but gets chased out by the dog all the way back home. Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis influence. Martin and Lewis were a famous American comedy duo active from 1946 to 1956. They eventually made it big, starring in TV shows and films. And both Drake and Josh have cited them as an influence on their dynamic and comedic style.
I tried to, I would go home and I would get Martin and Lewis sketches, and this was before we had, you couldn't just find it on the internet, and so I would watch videos that I had of Martin and Lewis, and I would type the scripts, and I would write the scripts while they were doing it, and I'd pause it, and I'd write out the scripts, and then I would take them to Josh, and I'd be like, hey, I'll do the Dean Martin part, you do the Jerry Lewis part. But then he would read them and he'd be like, these aren't really that funny. But I was always trying to do something where we had our own thing, because I knew the show was gonna end, but that's no way can we end. We're gonna be the next comedy team,
House real location. So the exterior shot of Drake and Josh's house was a real house in Encino, California. Sadly, the house was demolished in 2018, but Drake Bell himself paid a visit to it and made a video.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Came to check out the Drake and Josh house, and it is gone. All that remains is this mailbox.
Drake and Josh books. Author Laurie McElroy wrote 7 different Drake and Josh books for Scholastic. These are all essentially adaptations of certain episodes. I personally never read these as a kid, but if any of you guys have read these books, let me know down in the comments, and let me know how they are. Is there some deep lore that I'm missing out on? Additionally, there was a Drake and Josh cinemanga called Drake and Josh Match Made in Heaven that is super rare and has been put up online for hundreds of dollars. I couldn't find a glimpse of the actual pages online, but apparently most cinemangas are just books that show actual shots from the show with text underneath them. So sadly, there is not actually a Drake and Josh manga. Now She's Carly. I've mentioned before how the Premiere Theater has a bunch of Easter eggs in the fake movies shown on the marquee, and one of the most notable examples of this is in the series finale, Really Big Shrimp. On the marquee, you can see a movie titled Now She's Carly, referencing Dan Schneider's next show that would bring Miranda Cosgrove on as the lead in iCarly. But there are some other notable Easter eggs on the marquee as well. Thank You Malaro is a reference to Stephen Malaro, a writer that worked on both Drake and Josh and iCarly. Then there is 4 Great Seasons, of course referencing the 4 great seasons of Drake and Josh. Unaired pilot with different dad. So we all know the pilot episode of Drake and Josh, but a fun fact is that that is actually not the original pilot. Back in 2002, 2 years before the series actually premiered, they shot the pilot for the show, but with Stephen Furst as Drake and Josh's dad instead of Jonathan Goldstein. Stephen Furst was apparently unavailable to reprise his role, so they later recast him, obviously. This pilot was never aired, but a few clips of it have surfaced to YouTube. Maybe someday we'll get to see it in full. I know I'd certainly like to. Josh's earring. This is one only eagle-eyed viewers probably noticed, but very often throughout the show, Josh is wearing 1 or 2 earrings on screen. They're pretty low-key, but they are there. This was apparently a fashion choice of Josh Peck himself.
Have you ever pierced your ears?
I have both ears pierced, actually.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Where are they pierced?
The lobes, classic, like wherever they do it at Claire's Accessories.
Have you ever put like a big fat diamond in that piercing?
Cubic zirconium, sure, all through my teens.
Holy smokes, that is so rad.
Yeah, dude, there are seasons of Drake and Josh where I have 2 earrings in.
What? Really?
Yeah, gold studs, babe.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I was 300 pounds. I looked harpooned.
Spin City Records. In the series finale, Drake and his band play at the premiere, and the vice president of Spin City Records, Alan Krim, sees the show and is impressed. So he pursues a record deal with Drake. Deka Shoes, a company that comes back in iCarly, needs a song for a Super Bowl commercial and they want to use one of Drake's songs in it. Josh, acting as Drake's manager, signs a contract all willy-nilly without Drake's consent, not knowing that he has just signed over all creative control to Spin City Records. The record label take Drake's original song and butcher it. However, when the representative from Deka Shoes comes to pick up the CD with the song on it, Josh swaps it with the original version, which ends up making it to air.
Just listen! Oh my god. That's my song! That's my song! Shh! Don't spoil the moment, listen.
Meet me in the middle. It just got so simple now, 'cause it makes me happy. Save the rainy days, ain't another time. I'm just here to say, read between the lines. I'm so glad that you're mine. It makes me happy.
And that was awesome! Hug me, brother!
Spin City Records is not happy with this initially, but they're cool with it once the song becomes a huge hit after the airing of the commercial. Dr. Elliot Nussbaum. The Premiere Real Location. Like the house, the Premiere is a real place. It's actually a real movie theater, Metropolitan Camino Real Cinema in Goleta, California, where, looking online, the exterior appears to be the same. Walter's touche pronunciation. When Walter says touche, he mispronounces it as touche.
What up with your hair?
What up with yours?
Touche.
It's touche.
Carly. No, not Carly Shay, a different Carly. In Season 4, Episode 5, Who's Got Game, Drake and Josh make a bet to see who can go on the most dates. Of course, Drake being Drake, he is confident that he'll win this shit in a landslide. However, when he goes to a local record store, he meets an employee there named Carly, who he takes a liking to. The two flirt, and he tells Josh he wants to call off the bet because he found someone he actually likes. However, Josh is on a hot streak with getting dates, as Audrey's helping him out. Carly hears Drake and Josh discussing the bet and is totally upset, and dumps Drake. However, Drake later wins her back. I think this ends up being Drake's longest on-screen relationship, as Carly returns in the episode The Storm, whereas every other girl he's dated has pretty much been a one-off. Nathan Kress cameo. In the episode Battle of Panthatar, you can see Nathan Kress, who would go on to play Freddy in iCarly, in the background. He had dialogue in a deleted scene or two where he's flirting with Megan, who is totally uninterested. It is said that these scenes were deleted because the creator of the show didn't want viewers to get confused when Freddy would later have a crush on Carly in iCarly, where Miranda Cosgrove's character is also disinterested in him. Cancelled reboot / Josh and Drake. So, for a minute, there were serious plans of making a Drake and Josh reboot called Josh and Drake. Here, on his old podcast, Drake Bell explains the concept for the show and why it fell through.
So there's the opening scene where, Josh is he's a real estate agent, and he goes in and he is dressing a house and getting it ready, and
the people who go to buy the house, they recognize him, and
they're like, "Hey, aren't you that guy from Drake and Josh?"
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Hug me, brother," and then Josh gets in the car and goes,
"Hug yourself, F-head." And that alone,
that was the first thing that I was like, we can't open our show like that.
First red flag, because you just said F you to the entire Drake
audience.
And Josh fan base.
Yeah.
Where's Walter? This is questionable in terms of the official Drake and Josh canon, but the cast got together to make sort of a sequel online miniseries / short called Where's Walter? The series starts with Walter spotting Audrey, seemingly out on a date with none other than Bruce Winchell. where we see him in the flesh for the first time. Walter is devastated by this, and then literally breaks the fourth wall, escaping the Drake and Josh universe. Craig and Eric find Walter and explain everything to him. This was a fun little short directed by Drake Bell, and as of right now, it's the closest thing we've gotten to a revival of the show. Shared sets with iCarly. So if you've watched iCarly, you may have noticed that a couple of the sets used in iCarly were previously used on Drake and Josh. One of the classrooms used is one of the same ones used in iCarly, and the episode where Drake and Josh get stranded on the way to a wedding is the same set they used in iCarly when they get stuck in Japan. Layer 4. Drake and Josh is a show in the iCarly/Victorious universe. So everyone knows about the shared universe of Zoe 101, Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious, and some other live-action Nick shows. Obviously, with Drake and Josh, we see Helen pivot from theater manager to school principal in Victorious. But because we see Carly watching Drake and Josh, and we also see a poster of Drake Bell inside of Sam's locker, as well as some other mentions in Victorious, it is literally clear as day that Drake and Josh is a show in that universe. While at the same time, Helen is like a real person, it's complicated.
Good revenge, too. And by the way, he didn't kill Hervé. The camera flash just stunned him. How come that little girl's so good at pranks?
Original Lenny Kravitz theme song. Originally, Lenny Kravitz's 2001 song Dig In was set to be the theme song for Drake and Josh. You can hear Lenny Kravitz's song in the background in the martial arts studio in the pilot as well. So once the show got greenlit, Dan Schneider had a meeting with Drake to discuss how much of his musical talents he wanted to be a part of the show.
I called my buddy who I was writing music with at the time, and I said, we got this meeting, and we should try and write a theme song. I should show up with a theme song for the show, because the song right now is just a Lenny Kravitz song. It's a song everybody's heard on the radio. Like, I want somebody in their bedroom that's working on their homework to hear the theme song and go, oh, Drake and Josh is on. I gotta hear it.
Here is a fan edit of what the theme may have looked like if they decided to go with that original Lenny Kravitz song. Drake and Josh's biological parents. So, unfortunately, I don't have that much intel on Drake's biological dad and Josh's biological mom. This was potential character lore that the writers never really tapped into. However, apparently there was a proposed episode where we would meet Drake's dad and Josh's mom, but of course it never came to fruition. Outside of this, there is no real mention of their biological parents ever during the show. Bobo. So just some background, the episode My Dinner with Bobo starts with the brothers having a dispute over who gets to drive Walter's car, as they both need to use it that day. The brothers go to Walter saying they want their own car, and Walter agrees to match the $1,200 that the guys are able to put up. Drake, Josh, and Megan go to the used car dealership to get a car, and they meet Bobo, an orangutan that hangs around the lot with the car salesman. The brothers can't agree on a car, so they go back home, and then Drake steals the money they were going to put up for the car. It turns out that instead of buying a car, Drake bought Bobo instead. The brothers then decide to make money off of Bobo, bringing him to a booth in the premiere where people can buy kisses, photos, and dances with the orangutan. This guy then goes up to the brothers, offering them $10,000 for Bobo, and they accept. Megan is suspicious of this, so she looks up the guy's name online and finds that he fled the country of Cambodia after he was charged with conspiracy to purchase and consume rare primates. So it turns out this guy wasn't looking for a pet after all, he was looking for a meal. Drake and Josh then track him down at his apartment, and then they get locked in the closet until the police come and take him to jail. Megan, who helped save the brothers, said that she'll let them out of the closet on one condition. They have to sell Bobo back to the car salesman, and they'll use the money to buy a car of Megan's choosing. Your mom is hot. Gavin Mitchell gets the hots for Drake and Josh's mom in the episode The Storm.
Hey, Drake. What's up, Gavin? Your mom's hot. Dude! How tall is she? Like 5'2", 5'10"?
I'll measure her later and let you know.
Don't forget. Did you measure your mom yet?
Okay, you can't date my mom.
I think that's up to her.
All throughout San Diego, so everyone's being advised.
poor baby.
Hey,
Hi, Gavin.
candlelight. Kind of romantic. Just thinking, when this storm's over, here we go to BF Wang's, split some mushu.
Grandfathered. Grandfathered was a 2015 sitcom starring John Stamos that lasted for just one season. Alongside Stamos in the recurring cast was none other than Josh Peck. Additionally, Drake Bell even appeared on an episode, and they take advantage of this opportunity to make some Drake and Josh references.
You remind me of my stepbrother.
Oh, but is he awesome?
No, he's in jail for stalking Oprah. Anyway, let's get inside so you guys can buy me dinner.
It's time for you to go, Kirk.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Go away. Have a nice night.
Don't tell me what to do.
What? Hug me, brother! Yes! It's a tech industry. We don't have to do business with jerks. At least sister gave us double our seed money.
MeganParker.com. In the episode Honor Council, where they do a trial at school to determine whether or not Drake put Mrs. Hafer's car in her classroom, yes, you heard that right, it's revealed that Megan has her own website, MeganParker.com. This is brought up because Josh says that he's a light sleeper in court, and would have heard Drake get up in the middle of the night to pull this prank on Mrs. Hafer. I've seen other people online point this out, but it's kind of sweet that she has a link to Drake's music on there, even admitting that it's pretty good. Since she's always trying to mess with her brothers, this does show a different side to Megan and Drake's relationship. Bountiful music. God, this is one of my favorite jokes in the show. In Season 2, Episode 6, Drake takes an interest in Michelle, this smart girl in Josh's English class, that is also captain of the academic team. Basically, he tries to impress her by seeming smart, intentionally going to see the same movie as her so that he can run into her.
Drake?
Oh, hey, Michelle.
Hi. Did you see the same movie I saw?
Oh, yeah, Beautiful Mucus?
You mean Bountiful Music?
Uh-huh.
Walter is allergic to cumin. In the Season 3 episode The Affair, the one where Drake and Josh think that Walter's cheating on Audrey, the brothers try to show Walter how great of a wife Audrey is. They make breakfast for him, saying that their mom made it. But Drake, being dumb as usual, puts cumin in the food instead of cinnamon. This gives Walter a severe allergic reaction.
Cumin? You put cumin in his waffles?
You told me to put cumin in his waffles.
I said cinnamon! Cinnamon!
Trevor. Trevor is a minor character played by Taron Killam. He appears in Season 1, Episode 2, Dune Buggy, and is mentioned one or two more times in the show afterwards. Trevor's the guy that gives the brothers the dune buggy that Drake later gets into an accident with. The Pine Cone Incident. Walter, at one point, was the chief of the Campfire Kids, pretty much an in-universe alternative to the Girl Scouts. Josh is making s'mores for them, and tells Drake that they are for the Campfire Kids, and Drake is shocked that Walter is still the chief. But, despite this Pine Cone incident, Walter remains the chief until he's fed up with the kids, who forcibly tie him to a chair in the house.
So why are you making s'mores?
Well, I'm helping Dad out with Megan's Campfire Kids meeting.
Dad's still the chief? I thought they kicked him out after the Pine Cone incident.
Hey, that squirrel had it coming.
Highway to Nowhere. In the episode Vicious Tiberius, the one where Drake and Josh watch Mrs. Hafer's dangerous dog, the boys call their dad for help. But he doesn't answer because he's on the elliptical training for Channel 7's annual 5K fun run, where his rival, Bruce Winchell, will be competing. Walter is so motivated to beat Bruce Winchell in this run so he can finally be better than him at something. Anyways, when Drake and Josh call him, he's singing the song Highway to Nowhere on the elliptical. Fun fact, Highway to Nowhere is actually one of Drake Bell's original songs, and it comes from his debut album, Telegraph.
I'm on a highway to nowhere, trying to get high without you. I don't know
No answer.
Liza Tupper is someone Drake goes out with to make another girl jealous. This works, and Drake gets back together with the other girl and trades Liza with her date. At the end of season 3, it's revealed that Liza Tupper is actually Dr. Phyllis's daughter.
Drake had just broken up with his girlfriend, Tori, but he wanted her back. So he thought he'd try to make her jealous by making out with this hot girl named Liza.
Drake, is that story true?
Well, yeah, but I totally learned my lesson, because let me tell you, Liza Tupper, worst kisser ever.
I have heard that.
Liza Tupper?
Yeah, and she's not exactly the smartest wonton on the poo-poo platter, if you know what I'm saying.
You're saying she's dumb.
And a very bad kisser.
Liza Tupper happens to be my daughter.
Oh, well, this is awkward.
Oh! Hey, Josh, get her off of me! She's killing
What are you doing?
Diana Vosh. Diana Vosh is a supermodel that accidentally shows up to Drake and Josh's door in season 4, episode 13. The boys are flustered that this happened in the first place, and Drake gets a kiss out of it. Clackers. At the beginning of season 4, episode 15, Drake shows him this new toy he got, which he calls one of the hottest toys in the Netherlands. While Drake says this, the real-life clackers actually come from the US and were originally made in the 1960s. Lenny Spodnik. Back in the Foam Finger episode, as a way to settle their dispute over which one of the brothers is telling the correct story about their scuffle at the Padres game, Megan tracks down the merch guy with an eye patch to tell the story. Drake Stalker. A few times throughout the show, this girl with no given name randomly goes up to Drake as a fanatic, knowing seemingly like everything about him.
Hey, didn't you win last year?
Actually,
He won last year and the year before. That's 2 years in a row. And when he wins this year, that'll be a three-peat.
do I know you?
No. I love you. Bye.
It looks like you just won the talent show for the 2nd year in a row.
Actually, it's 3 years. It's a three-peat, just like I predicted.
Who are you?
I love you. Bye.
Hewitt. In the episode Blues Brothers, Hewitt serves as the episode's antagonist. Him and his a cappella group are going up against Drake's band at the talent show, possessing all the confidence in the world. By the time of the talent show, Hewitt and his band pull a fast one on Drake by performing the same song Drake's band was set to play, the show's theme song, Found a Way. Once Drake sees this, he decides last minute to bring out Josh so they can do their Blues Brothers routine. While Hewitt and his band got a great reaction from the crowd, they had nothing on Drake and Josh. Chives. In Season 2, Episode 9, Driver's License, the boys both take a driver's test. Drake is paired up with a young woman to take a test with, and Josh gets paired up with this old lady. Typical scenario for both of the brothers. Even though Drake charms the young woman all the way through the ride, she still fails him. On the other hand, Josh passes with flying colors. At the premiere, Drake approaches this college girl, asking her out on a date. To get around to the fact that he can't drive yet, Drake says that his family has a private chauffeur drive him around named Chives, who Josh pretends to be. Drink juice? In the series finale, Helen gets married. So as her family comes to town, her grandmother Lula stays at Drake and Josh's house. But instead of Drake and Josh, she calls them Drink and Juice.
Hey, Lula. Drink, juice. Did she just call us Drink and Juice?
Who cares? I just got you a record deal.
Ethan LaRoche. In the episode Little Diva, Drake and Josh go over the guest list to the after party, which features a few notable celebrities.
Dude, look who's on the list. Ashton Kutcher, Adam Sandler, Ethan LaRoche.
Who's Ethan LaRoche?
I don't know, but he's gonna be there.
It's unclear where this name came from. It doesn't appear to be a reference to one of the cast or crew or anything like that. But Josh gets his autograph in the end.
totally owe you for hooking me up at this party.
Isn't it great? Hey, look, I got an autograph from Ethan LaRoche.
Who's Ethan LaRoche?
I don't know. But he dots his eyes with little hearts.
I thought you wanted to get an autograph from Regis.
I asked. He hit me.
Yeah, Regis.
I think we're ready to put up the fourth wall. This is a good fourth wall breaking joke that happens in the Treehouse episode.
All right, Drake, come on up here. I think we're ready to put up the fourth wall.
Ugh, I hate exerting energy.
Zeke Braxton. Zeke Braxton is a former professional football player that ends up working at Bellevue High School as a janitor. At one point, he suffered a head injury and has lost his short-term memory as a result. Basically, in the episode that he appears, Josh becomes the equipment manager for the Bellevue High School football team. But when the team is down bad in a big game, Josh fills in for one of the players. But it's actually Zeke filling in for him. Zeke gets injured but gets his memory back. So Josh has to fill in for him now, and he scores the winning touchdown, even if it was more so due to his own incompetence. Drake Bell car accident. In 2006, in the middle of filming for Drake and Josh Season 4, Drake Bell got in a serious car accident. According to Today.com, Bell's vintage Mustang was struck head-on Thursday as he waited to turn off the Pacific Coast Highway in Los Angeles. Nickelodeon spokeswoman Marianne Romano said. The crash fractured his jaw and left him with severe cuts, and he expects to undergo plastic surgery, Romano said. She said the production of the series was put on hold while he recovers. Bell is resting at home. He thanks everyone for their concern and well wishes, said his publicist, Gina Hoffman. This, of course, disrupted the filming schedule, as Drake had to recover with his jaw sewn shut months after. It's speculated that because of this car accident delaying filming, that's why Season 4 aired out of order partially. So my foot's totally stuck in there. I'm not reading the whole quote. In Season 4, Episode 5, Drake starts to tell this outlandish story, but gets interrupted before we can hear the rest.
Hang on a second. So my foot's totally stuck in there, right? I'm freaking out. The dog's having a seizure. I still got half a pie left. Come here!
Layer 5. Seasons 2 through 4 were filmed in HD. So I initially found out about this thanks to Quentin Review's video series on the iCarly Victorious universe. But Drake and Josh seasons 2 through 4 were shot in HD widescreen, as opposed to the 4:3 aspect ratio you'll see them in when you go to watch it on DVD or on streaming. Apparently, a few episodes from Season 4 were shown on Nick in HD, and a clip of the football episode has resurfaced in HD as well. But regardless, these seasons were still shot with the 4:3 aspect ratio in mind, as that was the standard for most TVs at the time before HD became widespread. It's unlikely we'll ever get to see most of these episodes in HD at all, however. Papa Nichols. Papa Nichols is Josh's grandfather who served in World War II. Old, senile, and apparently suffering from PTSD, Drake and Josh leave him in the care of Craig and Eric while they ride the Demonator, as I mentioned earlier. But Papa Nichols mistakes them for Germans, as he has a World War II flashback.
Where am I? What's happening? Oh, he's disoriented. What did you call me?
Oh, nothing, sir. I was just,
What have you done with the rest of my unit?
What does he mean, his unit? I guess he thinks he's back in World War II.
General Patton, sir. It's Sergeant Nichols. I've just been captured by 2 German nerds.
No, sir. We're not Germans.
That's just what a German would say.
No, you don't understand.
No, you'll not capture me. Never.
Eric!
USA! USA! USA!
Tyler. In the sushi episode, Tyler is the boy that shows up to Drake and Josh's door to deliver them nachos. The boys eat the nachos, which they say are delicious, except that the cheese is actually glue, and that this was all a prank orchestrated by Megan. Tyler is Megan's assistant that she hires, because one little girl can only have so much time for pranking her older brothers. By the end of the episode, however, she fires him, as she doesn't want to share the joy of making her brothers miserable with anyone. Audrey is a caterer. I don't think this is directly mentioned anywhere in the show. Again, Audrey is given very little lore or character development. But apparently this is a fact of the show confirmed by Dan Schneider himself, that even Drake Bell didn't know about. Nostropecia. Helen mentions this condition she has in Season 4, Episode 1. I don't know about you guys, but this was one detail that really stuck in my brain as a kid.
Bought him one of those electric nose hair trimmers.
A nose hair trimmer?
Yeah, Josh needs one. Not me, though. My nostrils are naturally hairless because I have a condition called nostropecia. Yeah, you will not find one hair in this nose on account of the nostropecia.
Chad. When Josh and Mindy go on a break, she starts spending a lot of time with this guy named Chad. Chad is an accomplished guy, as he wrote a successful novel and even made his way onto the Oprah Winfrey Show because of it. Naturally, Josh gets super jealous of him, but in the end it's revealed that Chad is actually Mindy's cousin. Tom Kenny. In the Season 1 episode, 2 Idiots and a Baby, Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, makes a voice cameo as the singing bear.
This one's his favorite.
Lucy Hale. In the Theater Thug episode, Pretty Little Liars star Lucy Hale makes a cameo. Drake's at the movie theater looking to find a date, and given Drake's luck, he finds a girl that's interested, played by none other than Lucy Hale before she was famous.
Where you can find a date in 2 minutes.
Hey, you want to see a movie with me?
Sure.
So what's your name?
Hazel.
Oh, like the nut.
Tori DeVito plays 2 different characters. Oh, another Pretty Little Liars cast member. Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks to the Hilary Duff entry in my George Lopez Iceberg, but Tori DeVito plays 2 different characters in the show, and the crew just expected us not to notice. She first appears in Season 2 as Denise, the college girl Drake goes on a date with. Then, in Season 3, she plays Tori, another girl Drake dates, except this time she goes to the same high school as him. Dr. Jeff Glazer. Dr. Jeff Glazer appears in a couple different episodes of the show. Once in the episode The Bet, and once in the episode Little Diva. In The Bet, he's the doctor that tells Drake he's having withdrawals from candy, and in Little Diva, he cares for Ashley Blake. The Josh Pinata. In the episode where Josh becomes Megan's new teacher, her and her classmates hate him so much that they make a piñata that looks like him and beat it for candy.
I am a teacher. Now, I realize these kids might think that I'm being tough on them, but deep down, I know that they appreciate me.
Yeah, that must explain the Josh Pinata.
Does look like me.
I come from a family of moist men. Funny quote to hear out of context. Josh says this while the police are interrogating him and Drake for selling the stolen Gary Coleman grills.
Looks like you 2 boys are in some serious trouble.
No, we didn't do anything.
Well, then how come your partner's sweating so much?
It's hereditary. I come from a family of moist men.
Vince. Vince is the guy that takes Drake and Josh skydiving in one of the final episodes of Season 4, and he's given a name for whatever reason. Mr. Talbot. Mr. Talbot is the remedial English teacher that gets tortured by the delinquent kids in the class. Catherine Parker. Catherine Parker is the great aunt of Drake and Josh, and she's apparently around 90 years old. She's only brought up in one episode, The Wedding, and is never seen on screen. Everyone in the family seems to hate her, but they try to show up and be nice for her, because they want to inherit her beach house when she dies.
She's not nice.
She is mean. Mean to the bone. Something's not right about Aunt Catherine. She collects hair from people she doesn't even know well.
Oh, and get this.
Aunt Catherine's getting married.
I mean, who wants to get married at 89 years old?
You know, Josh and I disagree on a lot of stuff, but I bet he hates Aunt Catherine just as much as I do.
I wonder if Drake hates Aunt Catherine as much as I do.
Do you?
Totally.
Denise Crenshaw. Denise is Mindy's third cousin, played by Maggie Wheeler, who some of you might know better as Janice from Friends. She's a makeup artist that helps the boys pull a prank on Megan. In 5, 4, 3, 2. You might know this as a quote from iCarly later on, but in the season 3 finale, the Dr. Phyllis episode, we actually get to hear this exact line uttered in Drake and Josh.
Okay, everyone stand by in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Episode intros with third character. So most of the Drake and Josh opening scenes show Drake and Josh telling a similar story, but from their own unique perspective. There are a total of just 2 episodes in the entire series where a third character is added to the mix, with a red outline as opposed to Drake and Josh's green and blue outlines.
When a parent tells you no, you gotta respect that, but Drake just does whatever he...
Who is this guy?
Who?
You!
I'm Dave.
What are you doing here?
I don't know. I just bought a new webcam, hooked it up, and turned it on.
Coach Bilbo. Coach Bilbo is described in the intro for season 3, episode 12. He's never seen on screen, but this is just some more deep lore.
Okay, teachers, they're some of the greatest people in our lives.
All right, teachers, some of the most annoying people in our lives.
Except for Coach Bilbo.
And the worst was Coach Bilbo.
It's not that he was a bad teacher.
He was a bad teacher.
It's just that he'd always get so angry you couldn't understand what he was saying.
All he did was yell, but you couldn't understand a word out of the guy's mouth.
He'd be like,
yeah, if I was like 3 seconds late to class, he'd be all,
First Nick show to use the phrase, "oh my god." I definitely heard this in passing a while back, but when researching for this Iceberg, I found out that apparently Drake and Josh was the first Nick show to use the phrase, "oh my god." Even though this isn't exactly pushing the boundaries of kids' television that much, it makes sense in hindsight, as some of Dan Schneider's later works, like Victorious, veered on humor that was a bit edgier than anything else on the network at the time. Dr. Fishbaum. Dr. Fishbaum is Josh's therapist, mentioned 2 times in season 4. I really have no idea why they made up this character that we never see on screen, but he is specifically mentioned in these 2 instances.
Hey, Josh, you left your rash cream in my glove compartment.
keep it.
Huh?
My rash went away.
You've had that rash for 3 years.
Why would it just go away all of a sudden?
I'm not sure. Dr. Fishbaum says it could have been stress-related.
Ah.
What kind of car did you have in mind?
Something safe.
Something fast.
Let you get good mileage.
It's gotta have satellite radio.
Heated seats would be nice.
Huh?
I get cold down there.
Look, no one's interested in your butt temperature problems.
Dr. Fishbaum is.
We are now at the end. Layer 6. Prison is for scum and lowlifes. Okay, I want to play a game with you guys. Guess which character said this. Was it Megan? Drake? Mrs. Hafer? Nope, it was Josh of all people. He says this once he and Drake go to jail for selling the stolen Gary Coleman grills.
I don't belong in prison. Prison is for scum and lowlifes. Except for you guys. I'm sure you're all wonderful people. Maybe later we can all get together and let me out of here. I have a piano.
Crazy Steve ends up in a mental institution. So, way after the events of Drake and Josh, in the show Sam and Cat, the two main characters go to a mental asylum and find none other than Crazy Steve locked up, with his premiere vest intact and what looks like a Bane mask. He says something that he said back in season 4, so it's clearly Crazy Steve. Quiet on set. Just a quick content warning, I will be discussing sexual assault and abuse in this entry. This is obviously going to be the darkest entry on this entire Iceberg chart, and I debated not including it at all, but there are a couple disturbing connections to Drake and Josh, so that's why it's on here. So as a lot of you probably saw last year, the 5-part documentary miniseries Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, exposed the toxic behavior and culture behind certain Nickelodeon shows in the 1990s and 2000s. Most notably, Drake Bell came on and revealed that he is a victim of sexual abuse by a man named Brian Peck, a dialogue coach he met on season 2 of The Amanda Show. As Drake Bell explains how manipulative and evil this guy was, he also explains that Brian Peck expressed interest in being cast as the dad in Drake and Josh. Brian Peck was later found guilty in court, but only served 16 months in prison, a sentence so light for a crime so heinous. Unfortunately, quite a few people from Hollywood wrote letters of support for Brian Peck, including Taran Killam, who plays Trevor on Drake and Josh.
On the day of sentencing for Brian, I get to the courthouse. It was the most unbelievable thing I'd ever seen. His entire side of the courtroom was full. Full. There were definitely some recognizable faces on that side of the room. And my side was, me, my mom, and my brother. Brian had been convicted, but getting all of this support from a lot of people in the industry, and yeah, I was pretty shocked. My mom got up, she had a statement. I wasn't going to address Brian. There was no reason to. I addressed my statement to everyone in the room. I looked at all of them, and I just said, "How dare you?" And I said, "You will forever have the memory of sitting in this courtroom and defending this person. And I will forever have the memory of the person you're defending violating me and doing unspeakable acts and crimes. And that's what I'll remember."
Now for the final entry, Megan is Carly theory. So this theory basically posits that Carly from iCarly is actually Megan from Drake and Josh, and Spencer from iCarly is actually Crazy Steve from Drake and Josh. The theory states that Crazy Steve kidnapped Megan, and they both start a new life in Seattle. Another twist on the Megan is Carly theory is the idea that Drake and Josh is in fact a real show in the iCarly and Victorious universe, which it is, and that Carly is a child actress who played Megan on the show. There are so many directions you could go with this, but these are just a couple of the basics. Thank you all for watching all the way to the end in this long-ass video. If you liked what you saw, leave a like or subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon.